I'm Eimear Morrissey, and I'm an actor and a voiceover artist and a facilitator. I started in Draiocht 10 years ago as an usher, actually on my 18th birthday. So there I am, revealing my age. On my 18th birthday, I got hired, and it was the most exciting thing ever. And I started here as an usher. And at the time, I really wanted to be involved in theatre, or I wanted to act, but it wasn't allowed at home. I had to go and get myself a proper degree. So that was fine. And in that year, then I did the first in-house production Draiocht had, which was Doghouse. And I met one of my best friends there, Mark. We both ended up playing leads together, and we met there. And that was when I worked at my first kind of professional director. And then through that, then the likes of the writer came along, Gina Moxley, who's an actor as well. And I remember her kind of talking to us afterwards and saying, have you ever considered becoming an actor? And I said, oh, I'd love to, but I don't think I'm good enough. And sitting down over a couple of glasses of wine, because I was legally able to drink at the time, she had told me who to audition for and what to do and where to go. And actually for my first audition for drama college, I had emailed Jim Culleton. It must have been about a year or so afterwards, and he gave me a list of things I should look into, because he'd worked with me and he knew, so I'd made contacts already. And then I didn't get anywhere initially in my first year, so I stayed here in Draiocht, and I worked, and I had a ball, and I did I worked with all the local groups, the Panto group, the Musical Society, the drama group, and I was on stage having a great time, and then also working behind the scenes here and learning so much from the people who were working here. And at the time we had a general manager, Helen Chamberlain, and we had Barry McKinney as our production manager, and they encouraged me, I don't know why, I must have been talking one time, but they encouraged me to produce a show. So Draiocht, I produced my first show here when I was 20, A Slice of Saturday Night, which was a musical, and we held open auditions for all over Dublin. We ended up with a brilliant show. We didn't make a loss on it, which was great. Draiocht allowed us to bring a car into the foyer at the time, which was a nightmare for Draiocht. And it was just like that really, really sealed my fate. I decided that was it, I'm going into theatre. But I wanted to perform. And then I kept going and followed my dream, and now I am a full-time actor. There was one time we were here, I think it was in our first year in Goonanua, we had The Importance of Being Earnest here. And we used to have to wash, we didn't have a dishwasher, and we didn't have fridges in our bar. So when we were ushering, we used to have to go during the first act of the show. If you weren't in watching the show, you had to go up and wash all the glasses by hand. So we used to put them all in a shopping trolley, and up we'd run, and we were washing them. But because of that, then we got to meet loads of actors, because the general manager here used to call me and Darren West End Wendy's, because we used to love talking to actors, because we were so involved. And Jean Rooney was one of the actors I remember at the time. I didn't recognise her years later, but we were chatting away, how do you get involved in theatre? I'm sure they were sick of listening to us and all our questions, but they never let it show. They were really, really nice and advised us, or advised me anyway, who to audition for and what to do, and I did. And then, about 8-9 years later, I went to the Gaelic School of Acting, and my showcase director was Jean Rooney. And it just clicked. I was like, Jean Rooney, I know that name from somewhere. And I went back through the Draiocht archive and realised it was her. And I was like, Jean, you came out to Draiocht. And she remembered us because we weren't annoying. She didn't say that at all. She said they had fun. Because them actors used to keep a ball up in the air. They used to play Keepy Uppy on their tour. And they let us, when they weren't on stage, they'd to keep a ball in the air, like that game in Friends, and they try and keep it up. But they used to beat it in every theatre they went to. But they let us play with them one day, which was great. So I'm sure we were really annoying, but I persevered, and here I am. And loads of little stories like that from Draiocht that are just all firsts. And there's so many, working in the community. Then myself and Mark, we managed to go back and do a play. We directed a play with the young people in the area called Bedazzled a couple of years ago through the Musical Society. And now we're both involved in the youth theatre, which is just incredible and so much fun. Because we didn't have a youth theatre when, I had to wait till I was 18 before I could get involved in the local groups, like Cool Mine. And I was at that age anyway, but, you had more reign as you were older. Whereas now with the youth theatre, people who are younger from the age of 12 can get involved and do drama and have a say, have their voice heard, and get in and have fun. And we're getting to, it's almost looking at our journey again, because it was 10 years to the month, I think, that myself and Mark had auditioned for Doghouse, and we held auditions here for the youth theatre. And so there's another 10 years down the line, hopefully someone else will be sitting here with their fun stories. No, not at all, because there's people who, well, obviously everyone who has to audition, irrelevant of what they're interested in, you have to audition. And but there is that costume element. There's backstage. There's going to be opportunities for them to learn how to light shows, or even just to operate lights, because we've got staff here that will be around during productions. So we're going to produce shows. I mean, we're producing a showcase at the moment for the summer project. But so we need people who can write, because there'll be elements of time to write. People who can sing, people who can move. Any element of theatre is going to come in, whether it's playing an instrument or makeup, costumes, but definitely writing. There's a lot of young people who want to write, and so through devising things and helping each other out, they're going to come up with ideas, and they will get that opportunity then to maybe write something or work with writers and learn how to write or direct. So it's more than just performance in a youth theatre, but it's really important. Youth theatre, I think, is really important because it gives young people a voice, as well as helping them learn skills to perform and just to meet people and have fun. Like they do, and that's a lot of the people were saying that they're in groups of people who they don't know, because we have two separate groups. We have an A group and a B group, run at different times, and people were initially a little bit worried about going into a group without their friends, but they've made so many new friends and they're having so much fun and making like so many contacts. Like one guy was saying that he doesn't live in the same area as the people in his group, and he said he doesn't go to school with them, so he would have never had an opportunity to meet these people, and he's met them now and he's having a great time. They're so confident and they're so good to each other, because like the scariest part about a youth theatre is when you're creating your own work, you're putting your own ideas out there that might not be necessarily what other people would agree with or think are good, but they support each other and they advise each other. And to be able to do that at such a young, like our group is from 12 to 18, so that's, and we don't divide the ages, we mix all the ages, and you would walk into that group and you wouldn't notice an age difference because of the way in which they work for each other, or work with each other and for each other, and how they kind of, they're really supportive. We've never once had to say any kind of words about needing to encourage people, or they're there 100% all the way, with the shared interest and just there to have fun. In a way, like it helped me follow my career path. I definitely think I would have been lazy about pursuing a career in the arts, because seeing the people working here and all, you know, everyone in every department, not just performance, but you know, general managers. I would never have applied to work for Team Theatre, who I've been working with for the last 2 years, if it wasn't for Jackie Ryan, our general manager, saying, you know, I think you're the type of person who'd work great in Team. And then I ended up working with them for the last 2 years, and everyone, I remember when we started, the people who were working in the office at the time had said, you know, this is your theatre, it's a community theatre, we tap into us as much as you can, we will give you all our knowledge, because we're going to go someday, but you're still going to be in the area and you're going to be able to feed back in. And just looking at the people who are working behind the scenes in Draiocht and in the office now, it has come full circle, and people are going back in, and you just Draiocht's a family, so I love Draiocht because I love my family.